Hi, I'm Corey Luna. This is Rich Hogben, and we are here to patch you up on Patch Dispatch. Today we'll be talking a little bit about what's going on with Moog, talk about our new presentation of Monologs, a couple of album releases, and get into a little bit of gear. So Rich, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited and nervous for Saturday. It's something.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's something we worked on. I mean, something we've been planning for like a long time, and we finally did it. So it'd be cool to get it out there,
Yeah, we're gonna get into it in a minute, but it was really cool. Like, it was just such a chill experience for the first time for us. Like, just because our interviewee and host was very gracious with his time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And let's talk about what's going on with Moog first. That's a big topic about what happened with the sale of Moog. Very, I think to most of the public, it was very abrupt and also very sad at the same time.
Yeah, I think I forget the date they announced In Music had bought it. It's been half a year now, or it was a while back, right? In Music.
Has it been?
I don't know. I mean, it's been a little bit of time. It didn't just happen. But I remember some people calling it out then, like, this isn't good, because they've pointed to other instances where In Music had bought other companies and just basically outsourced everything.
Correct. Alesis is one of those companies that has never been the same company since. And granted, I honestly don't know when that purchase happened to Alesis, but I haven't seen anything unique come out of Alesis in well over 15 years.
Right. That's what I heard too. They just they take the core product and then just run with it. And then that's what they do. That's what they have forever. Oh, it's kind of, yeah. Anyways, yeah, but we both saw this article about the same time. I think it was on Synth Anatomy. That's where I saw it first. And it sounds like they heard something from ex-employees. So that seems like that's what tipped them off to the downsizing.
Yeah, it looks like someone from Synth Anatomy, a correspondent, was able to interview a couple people at the factory. And it says in that article that about 30 people were laid off who were factory workers.
Right.
And that's a large production layoff.
Yeah, because I think they were making everything there, right?
Yes, everything's been made in Asheville, North Carolina, for maybe 35, 40 years, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
As the company was founded in 1951 in New York, and then I think in the 70s, Bob Moog relocated to Asheville, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been there ever since. Even with the absence of Bob Moog, the company, from my perspective, has done well with it keeping the product fresh and up to date and maintaining the quality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I love the stuff, the art direction they did for some of the new, the semi-modulars they put out, the DFAM and stuff like that. The inbox booklets and posters and stuff were really, really cool. It definitely had a passion sort of feeling to it versus just we make hardware and throw it in a box and sell it in a store. And I also read that it was almost half employee owned, 49% or something like that. So it seemed like a lot of people there probably were invested in it, as they own some of it, the company, and love working there. And then this happens. It's not fun.
No, it looks like a lot of people have said, hey, it was a good run, but it's not going to be good beyond this.
Right.
So we'll only know, we have yet to tell, but it's not looking good so far.
I know there's have been some follow-up articles since then, and I think even Moog has come out and said, try to explain like what's happening. Like, they're going to keep some of their high-end sort of built stuff there, but then they're going to have help from their overseas suppliers, like finishing off product, whatever that means.
Right. It seems that they had to do it to not go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Seems as, from what I can tell from the articles I've read, is so they don't foreclose and stop production, they had to sell the company.
Right.
Which is really sad to hear. I didn't realize they were hurting that much financially. So very sad. But I hope the best for the brand. Of course, it's such a large staple to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And anyone who has Moog gear, hold on to it. It's just going to go up in price.
Yeah, there's going to be the made in America stuff, the made in here, there, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hope for the best, I guess. Yeah, it looks like probably Moog Fest won't. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore if the company has now changed so much. Yeah, you'd think if they were like hurting that much, where they had to sell, like they're not going to be spending on festival, right? Like, yeah. And that was also another thing I'm sure a lot of people always like look forward to. And there's I never did, but I always wanted to try to go to one of like I don't know what they called them, like the engineering sort of, like to build your own synth thing. Mm. Right. Those were always really cool. Frank Martin was a participant of quite a few of those. Right. He has a few Moogs in his collection that he got to hand build himself at Moog Fest, right. And as many other people did. Right. Yeah, I remember seeing those. Well, wow. Interesting stuff. So hopefully we'll stay tuned and hear what happens next. Yeah. Well, let's go into Monologs. Now, this has been a project that Rich, you and I have been working on for well over a year now. Something that we have been talking about in transition to what we've been doing for the live shows. And it's different than what we've done in the past. But it gives us more control and focus on one subject at a time. How about you tell us your vision? Well, sort of what we've been, our kind of peaked narrative is, sort of where we started, which was, the San Francisco meetups that were, two artists, performance, and an interview where you're sort of, asking them about, how they prepare for the live set, how their general production stuff, kind of everything like that. And those were really, really fun. And of course, we transitioned to doing those online. And what comes with that is sort of a loss of the ability to sort of control, just the, I guess the quality, just you lose some control. You gain the ability to have people on the show that are from lots of different places. But it comes with a trade-off. So yeah, I kind of wanted to get back to, running the cameras, working on lighting, kind of like putting on a show. but so yeah, Monologs is our sort of version of that, but one artist at a time, and kind of learning a little bit more about them and their daily life and their sort of approach to making music, you know, day to day. And, you know, I guess their musical journey and sort of, you know, what the future holds. So that's kind of the main theme of Monologs right now.
And we're going to be presenting our very first one this Saturday, which is, what date is that? Actually, don't even know what date that's going to be.
30th?
September 30th?
I think so, yeah.
All right. I believe you're right. September 30th, this Saturday, on our Piqued YouTube, we will be presenting the first Monologs. And this is going to be on musical fungus, where Rich and I traveled to his home and interviewed him, got to meet his partner, and who was really, really wonderful and accommodating, and drank lots of coffee, and got to experience what it's like in the studio of musical fungus. And it was exciting. I gotta say, seeing his gear and getting to talk with him more in depth. Like I've known him for a few years now. Like, I wouldn't say that we're that close, but we've gotten to the point where we are, have a good friendship going on as it's slowly growing over our musical endeavors. And seeing how he is continually doing the same thing and how he explained a lot about his inspirations makes a lot of sense. Listening back to his music, I can now hear who it inspires him as an artist and how it influences his work as well. And how he goes from using Buchla, Surge, and Eurorack, specifically, all three of those styles, and brings them all into his own style. To me, is like one of the most unique things listening to him, because the jams that he did, that we recorded with him, were all done in Eurorack. But if you didn't know that, I don't think you would notice that he didn't use Buchla or Surge in that recording, because his style is so organic, which is very much like playing Buchla or Surge. You have a very organic flow and feel to those systems, because those are all analog systems. And he does that same style in Eurorack, which a lot of, and he has a mix of analog and digital modules.
Yeah, and he talked about how his make noise system, how that reminds him of those other systems, and that's kind of why he gravitates a lot to that one. He called it his go-to system. So I really liked, I remember, because he was at Piqued, the first Piqued, and then I think the third Piqued or fifth Piqued, or
that's around there.
Around there, yeah. So he was there twice, and it was cool seeing him bring in his modular system, but it was like a totally different thing to be like in the room with like everything, all put together and see it all like at once. So I really enjoyed that.
So there's a piece that we did make the cut, but I did mention to you a couple of days ago that I really enjoyed a little bit of our conversation, which we had on film, but we didn't use. Was I asked him the difference between banana cables and 1/8-inch patch cables for Eurorack, and he knew it in depth. And I was blown away. I says, I've never used banana cables, so I don't know the experience. I don't know what I'll be working with. So hearing the difference was very, very impressive, and surprised me very much on how different they are.
Yeah, he kind of went off on that whole, it was like, oh, I know about this. There was a lot of moments like that where he has a really like deep knowledge in something like that. And so that was the other thing. We're going to release sort of like an extended edition, not really behind the scenes, but sort of behind the scenes, because like as much footage as we can put into it, and released that on the Piqued website. So if you're a member, I think probably just any free member, you'll be able to access that and check it out. Because there's some cool stuff in there that definitely didn't make the cut. Because we don't want to throw out an hour-long video at everybody.
No. Yeah. So Monologs is the new series coming out from Piqued that Rich and I are working on. We've got one so far, and we've got a couple more people lined up that we'll be working with over the next few months to have more of this high-end production videos coming to you.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to traveling. It's exciting.
Yeah, at least one of them's got to be in LA. So
yeah, I think a few are going to be in LA.
Okay.
All right, let's get into some albums.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in conversation with WabiSabi, and he actually just released a new album, which is on his Bandcamp. And I'm also, with his permission, we're also going to be putting his full album out on Seismic Audio Podcast. And his new album is called Kyoto no Oto. And if you want to hear the full album, it right now, if you want to buy it, it's actually on Bandcamp right now. He just released it out there. It's really beautiful. He had just spent some time in Japan with with some family, and traveled around and did a lot of field recording. So with the mix of the field recordings in different areas he went to, he's also put on layers of synthesizers. So it's just this really beautiful, wholesome sound. It's very ambient sound style, and it's really lovely.
Do you want to play a sample?
Oh, sure. Let's play a sample.
Could do a little bit of the first one.
That's perfect.
Okay. Give me a sec to cue it up here. Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely beautiful. And we've got another album coming your way that just released. This is actually from Encounters, which we had him on Piqued a few months ago, and he's put out a remix of his album called A Path Beyond Remixed. Now, this is pretty cool. Looks like he's got a bit of some collaborators with him on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool. It's got some different takes on his music, which I'm really enjoying. And it's currently on pre-order right now. So the full album is not out yet. But what you can, the samples that are available are pretty cool. There's a bit of break beats going on in there, which is something that's very different from his original album.
Yeah, let's hear a sample. Maybe the Path Snowdrop remix, or what do you think?
That's a good one.
Okay. like that.
It's really cool. He got Blue Tech to do a remix. Wow. Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot on here. Cool. So when does it release again? From the pre-order? Oh, October 6th. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
That's really cool. Wait. All right. And want to head over to gear?
Sure.
Right. Now let's talk about meta module.
Yeah. So we covered a little bit of KnobCon stuff. And then after the show, I was scrolling through Instagram and somebody had I think it was a story or something of this 4MS module that's like a concept module called the meta module. And I was like, what the heck? Like, why didn't I see this before the show? Because I definitely would have talked about it. But it's basically like they put VCVRack inside of a Eurorack module, which is why it's called the meta module. We've got the modules that have been digitized into VCVRack world, and now they've come back into a module. But yeah, the idea is that you can build a patch in VCVRack and then export that patch and import it into the meta module. So it's like a super hyper digital module that you can kind of make whatever you want. It's almost like, I don't know, to me, it'd be like one of those like programming modules, but you just build out the rack like you normally would in VCVRack. Yeah, let's see what this is a screenshot of it on Modular Grid. And
Such a good idea.
Yeah, it's got, let's see, looks like gate ins, CV ins, and then audio CV outs. And I'm guessing these, okay, those are probably attenuators. Yeah. But kind of a tiny little screen and an SD card and a USB-C connector. So I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're into like VCVRack, this is pretty cool. I know there's people that do like the VCVRack and modular kind of combination. I've seen that before. So with this, you wouldn't need to have like your laptop. You could just load the patch on the module and have it in your case, which is pretty cool.
That's fun. It's more tactile.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it has Wi-Fi capability too. There's USB, SD card, or Wi-Fi.
Oh, I see. Probably to like configure it, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Preset manager. So you can probably scroll through different patches. Yeah, so they're calling it like a DSP development platform. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely probably, yeah. I'm sure it's very like, in the works still. So
yeah, I don't think there's a launch date on this right now. Yeah, it's to be determined.
Right.
Early 2024, price to be determined.
Right.
That's exciting. As many of us know, VCVRack is really fantastic with what they do for Eurorack in general. It being able to virtually use Eurorack modules without having to really purchase them physically is amazing already. And having it set up into your Eurorack is a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Are the make noise modules, are those in VCVRack?
I've never looked, honestly.
Okay.
That's a great question.
I'm sure if there isn't, there's equivalents. But like if you ever wanted to run like 20 maths, this is the module for you. You could just load them all up in there.
Your patch. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. If it's not in there already, then someone probably has already emulated it, and
I'm sure they probably have a maths like function module.
I'd imagine so.
Cool. And then what was the other module you wanted to look at?
The port 2 from X1L3 in England. Now, this one's a little different. So X1L3 always makes things a little different from everybody else. So port 2 is a retro joystick and paddle adapter for Eurorack modules. So the concept is that you can take joysticks from Atari and other older consoles, and you can use them to control your audio with this module.
Okay.
Which sounds kind of fun.
Oh, I see it. Yep. That's really cool.
Yeah, so if you've got a box of controllers from the 80s sitting around, you can plug them in and control audio with them.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like he has 3 connected. How many can you get in there?
Well, I see the 2 on the top. Great question. If you can do more. You got 2 DSUB connectors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
1 and 2.
Yep.
On the top. Looks like you can just do like 2 at a time. And then you've got plenty of inputs and plenty of outputs for the joystick gate. And then also for the TV outputs for the paddle.
Oh yeah, here's the description. I see. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah. But he does have a disclaimer on here. It says did not work with Sega, Nintendo controllers. But to his defense, it's a programming issue. So they're designed differently than like Atari and some of the older game consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Or Commodore 64 as well is also included in this.
I would definitely pair this with like a chiptune kind of setup.
Yeah.
Get the old school controllers and some samples or just some of that 8-bit sound.
Oh, yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I like that a lot. All right. And do we have anything else on our list for today?
No, I think that's it for tonight.
Fantastic. Oh, stay tuned for monologues coming up, and we'll talk to you probably in the next couple weeks. And this has been Korey Luna and Rich Hogben, and this has been Patch Dispatch.